Right. Where am I?
Weren't we
I need to
talking?
be going.
Weren't we on a subject?
Yes, very big subject to
Very
say the
big
least.
subject. This is in a lot of ways what makes the gaming industry. You could say.
What?
This, no,
What
this
this?
this is what this all comes down to eventually. Is you've got your three big guys, you've got your three big names, and they're competing with each other, and they sort of have their minions which go into forums and argue with each other relentlessly um, about this sort of stuff. I don't know if you've ever read that kind of thing, but it is a phenomenally good read. Only the once though, only the once, because people will it is something that's sort of bad. I mean, I really do go as far as if there's a game I want to play on a specific console and it's only available on that specific console, I'll start thinking to myself, yeah, I'm going to need to buy myself one of those if I want to be able to play that. And that's as far as things go for me. Um, but you get crazy dudes who argue on forums. Um, I don't have that much of a grasp on it. If I'm,
I don't know. You've talked about your PS3, so I'm guessing you actually have one.
yeah,
And obviously you have an Xbox, so you actually have a semi-balanced view on it. I mean, I'm a Xbox person because, well, that's the first. It's the one that I got, to be honest. And I've had a go on the PlayStation. I there's I can't say it was worse or it was better. Sure, the graphics are better, yes, in a majority of the games, but there are quite a lot of games on the Xbox which have pretty amazing graphics as well. But it's not all about graphics with a game, not for me anyway. Being gameplay is integral to a game because that's what makes it, to say the least. And you can rip off a list of different things that each console's better for. I mean, Xbox is better for online capabilities, has a larger game catalog. It's just, yeah, PlayStation. It's a bit more expensive. I say a bit, a lot. It supports a brand new video format, Blu-ray. It's created. When you're watching DVDs, PlayStations, they run a lot quieter. That is quite
I have to
important
say
for
though,
me.
do you have yourself the newer model of Xbox?
No, no.
Very quiet. Not a lot of noise comes out of that thing, and I think probably partly the reason they did that was because so a lot of ways the competition brings on a lot of good things because I'd imagine them saying one of the things that PS3 has is it's quite quiet. We need to make ours quiet. Um, but I suppose, I mean, I'd sort of describe the Xbox as the everyman's console. I mean, if you want to play games, and you want to play games especially with people, then I would say get yourself an Xbox. But at the same time, there's some games on PS3 that a lot of them, if you are into those sort of games, you really just you don't want to be missing. I mean, you've got your Uncharted's and your Metal Gear Solids. I mean Metal Gear Solid 4, phenomenal. I've played that through about 3 or 4 times now. If I could play that on Xbox, then I would have just an Xbox because there would be no point in owning the other thing. The unfortunate thing for me is because I don't follow any specific console or company or things like that. I sort of lose out because I've got to spend extra money to play the games. That's how the competition affects me, is I've got to spend, extra money because we have things like, exclusive titles and things that can only be played on Xbox. And in a lot of ways, a lot of stuff, things you can only get if you buy the Xbox or PS3 version of this game that's on both. So me the thing that I always think, I don't want to obviously insult anyone, but when I met years ago, I used to have a Nintendo 64, and my friend 2 doors up from me had a PlayStation 1, and we would argue about which one was better. Um, and that would have been in sort of the 90s when I was, a kid growing up. When I see people arguing on forums about it, I see those two kids arguing about the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation 1, and I find it really difficult to wrap my head around how people can get so heated and so, you see paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of information of, the Xbox can do this, and here's the games the Xbox has coming out this year, and here's the games that PlayStation 3 has coming out this year. How do they compare? How many of them? How do they all rate on, different gaming websites? And it's an area that really sort of confuses me. And when you're talking, you don't really sound like that sort of fanboy mentality. You just sort of sound like, I have an Xbox because the Xbox kind of fits in with what I'm looking for from a gaming perspective, a gaming aspect. What I'm sort of talking about is those guys who really do follow it. And to be honest, confuse the hell out of me. You could jump in any time now, Alex.
Sorry, I just got thrown off the rooftop by the Incredible Hulk.
Ah, okay.
Sorry, that was quite weird. No, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. This whole subject this whole discussion, argument, whatever you want to call it, all stems from the fact that there are a lot of people out there that are extreme fanboys. They take it to a whole new level. I mean, they deliberately go onto like the competitors' websites and forums and all that, and start up fights and arguments. Some people, they just do it for fun. I mean, like trolls and all that. They just do it to watch people argue. Then all the minor fanboys come in, have their say, then escalate into something large. Shut up about it. We all know. You pick what you want, you take it, you deal with it. You don't go... Just because the internet is there, it doesn't mean you have to voice your opinion.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of them. I will certainly admit that I play my Xbox a lot more than I do my PlayStation 3, simply because of the fact that Xbox Live, you can make the argument that PlayStation Network is free. Sorry if I offend anyone. I'm going to tell you to shut the hell up with that argument, because if you want to play games online simply, you should get yourself an Xbox, not just because of the games that are available, because certainly, you can play Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops on your PlayStation 3. If you want to get into a party, though, and play with people and, have a good time, then you can hit a button on Xbox and you're there. And on PlayStation 3, it's a little bit more complicated, and you have to jump through more hoops just to get that experience.
I think that's more a case that Microsoft has actually taken the time to develop a system which actually allows you to play online in parties. I mean, PlayStation, to me, it just seems as if the online capabilities, it was second thought.
Yeah. The thing that sort of bothers me is, you've got games like Killzone 2, for example. Not a lot of people play that online, as far as I know, anymore on PlayStation 3. But that is a phenomenally good online game. And the thing that sort of stood out to me when I was playing it was I was sort of going, man, I wish this was on Xbox. And that's not because, I have anything against the PlayStation 3 having a good game of its own. It's just that the online experience would have been so much better if I could have hit a button and invited all my friends into a party to play that game. And I've done that with a few games that are sort of just on PlayStation 3 that have some kind of significant multiplayer to it. My favourite multiplayer game of these current generation, you'll call it, was Warhawk. And Warhawk was to begin with, a download only. I think they made a disc version of it, but it was sort of a download only shooter on PlayStation 3, and it was absolutely brilliant. But at the same time, I was sort of dealing with sort of to me what felt like outdated methods of trying to get people I know all on the same team and having to jump through a bunch of hoops just to play with guys. I know the game itself was brilliant. I loved Warhawk. I really hope that they're working on another one. But just the lengths that I had to go through once. I don't remember they've changed it now because games certainly get updated. But when it sort of first came out, I remember having a difficult time getting on the same team as like one other guy that I knew who had the game. And, I'm just I think it's sort of a lost opportunity of the amount of fun I probably could have had on that game if the PlayStation 3 had some kind of party system that you could get, 8 guys in, that you could just all kind of, have a laugh.
True.
So, I mean, yes, it's free. You can play games without a charge on there, but I would say that I would gladly pay the how much is it a year now?
For what, Xbox?
Yeah.
It's about 40 quid, I think.
Yeah. So that's me. I mean, it probably sounds like I'm going into the realms of he obviously likes Xbox better than PlayStation 3. That's not the case.
There is also another reason why they charge money for Xbox. I mean, it was towards the beginning of this year, was it not, that the PlayStation Network got taken down. Nobody could access the PlayStation Network, and people that did access it while it was down, they couldn't go back on again, I think. That's what I was told.
Was there not some weird thing where the PlayStation 3 just went down for an entire day?
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
One of the occasions that it happened, it was because this is just me going from one of my friends that has a PlayStation 3, and he's like, true fanboy about it. The PlayStation 3 network got taken down by some kid that got hacked into the actual servers and altered the code ever so slightly. And people lost out on a day, whatever, and some of their systems actually got messed up by it because of the way that the PlayStation 3 works.
There was a thing quite recently. I'm not sure if that was the actual. I mean, that's the first time I've heard that. But there was a thing recently where there was a sort of. I can't remember the actual issue. I mean, what I'm talking about, I'll try and bring it up now. But there was a. I think it was something to do with the onboard clock inside the PlayStation 3 or something that messed up something to do with PlayStation Network. I can't remember what exactly it was.
I mean, it is just a case of what you look for from a console and what games you want. I mean, I'm trying to sum up just now because we're getting quite close to the end of the time that we can have for an episode, to be honest. I mean, we can always continue this into the next one.
Yeah.
But we haven't even started to touch on the subject of the Wii.
Yeah.
I mean, every person, when it comes to gaming and to other different subjects, everyone has their own personal preference. I mean, this is me just being neutral, and I will say, because I have played Xbox a lot, but I have played PlayStation a little, and I have played Wii, and and to be honest, the greatest console that I could say, mainly for me, was the Wii, mainly because of the games that I could play on, because childhood and all that. I mean, like stuff like Zelda and Super Smash Bros. And all that.
Yeah.
But it's a really difficult subject to talk about.
Yeah.
And be completely fair on.
Yeah. What sums it up for me is I can't play Metal Gear Solid 4 on Xbox. That's what sums it up. That is it for me in a nutshell. The Wii.
And
are we ready to cut off?
Yep, that's
Okay.
A perfect note to end on, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, we're gonna have to cut off.
Yeah.
Catch you guys in a bit.